And finally I learned how to read the Aleph Beis of Ksav Ivri, and I'm going to show you today it's Nageya to Shavuos to know how to read Ksav Ivri. Years later I opened the museum, and one of my Balei Tshuva was a guy in the t-shirt business. And he tells me, he lives in Long Island, Rabbi Deutsch, I want to give out a t-shirt for my son's bar mitzvah that no one has ever made such a t-shirt before. So I wrote him down all the letters of Ksav Ivri, and his son's name was Bobby, and he made Bobby's bar mitzvah with a Ksav Ivri chart. And then he comes and he says, in honor of you made this for me for the museum, I'd like to give you a few with the logo of the Living Torah Museum on it. So he gave me a couple of these t-shirts from the Living Torah Museum, and I had it in the museum. One day, Novominsker Rebbe calls me up. Rabbi Deutsch, I'm giving a shir in Novominsk tomorrow. I need you to teach me how to read Ksav Ivri. I said, no problem, come over. And this is one of the most unique pictures of the Novominsker Rebbe you will ever see. It's in my book on Sefer Bereshis. When I'm showing people why you need to know how to read Ksav Ivri, so this is a beautiful picture of the Novominsker Rebbe standing with me in the museum with his son, trying to learn how to read Ksav Ivri from a t-shirt. So I finish off with him, and he says to me, can I buy a t-shirt from you? I told him, only if you wear it. So he said, I won't wear it, but tomorrow, when I give a shir in Novominsk, I'm going to hold it up. Everybody should learn how to read Ksav Ivri. You cannot understand Gemaras about the Luchos unless you learn how to read Ksav Ivri. So we're going to begin today with teaching you a little bit about Ksav Ivri. The Gemara says in Sanhedrin, my Ksav Ivri, what is this Ksav Ivri? When Avram Avinu came to Eretz Yisrael, he brought along two types of Aleph Beis. Just like in English you have block letters and script, the Aleph Beis of a Sefer Torah is called Ashuris, and this was script Aleph Beis that the Yidden used to use called Ksav Ivri. Aleph Beis Gimel Dalet Hey. Vav Zayin Ches Tes Yud. Chaf Lamed Mem Nun Samach. Ayin Pei Tzadi Kuf Reish Shin Tav. Which of these two kinds of Aleph Beis do you think was on the Luchos? So everybody who learns Daf Yomi, who learns a little bit, thinks that the Aleph Beis of Ksav Ivri was not on the Luchos. They think, because the Gemara the Bavli says that the Samach and the Mem Shebelucha is Benes HaYoim. Like to look at a Samach in Ivri, no middle of the letter. Look at the Mem in Ivri, no middle of the letter. But the Yerushalmi argues with the Bavli and says the Beis of the Luch is hung, the Dalet of the Luch is hung, the Tes of the Luch is hung, the Kuf of the Luch is hung, the Reish of the Luch is hung. So it's a Machlokes Bavli and the Yerushalmi. I tell all the kids who come to the museum, if you're ever in school and you have a test and you don't know the answer, always write Machlokes. You're always going to be right. It's Machlokes between the Bavli and the Yerushalmi. Which letters of the Luch is hung? When the Jews minted coins, Dvarim Shel Choil in Bayis Sheni, they were using Ksav Ivri. How do you write the word Chatzi HaShekel in Ksav Ivri? Ches is a ladder. Tzadi is a stool sitting sideways. Yud, Z with a line. Chatzi. HaShekel, Hey is a funny looking F. Shin's a W. Kuf's a lollipop. Lamed is our letter Tes. So 2,000 years ago, if you wanted to write Chatzi HaShekel on a coin, it would be ladder, stool sitting sideways, Z with a line, funny looking F, W, lollipop Tes. That's how you'd write Chatzi HaShekel. I brought along today an original Machzis HaShekel. There are only 148 of these in the entire world. A silver Machzis HaShekel from the time of the second Beis HaMikdash. This is a $45,000 coin. Silver Machzis HaShekel. If you hold it like a clock, Look at the 4 o'clock position. Ladder, stool sitting sideways, Z with a line, Chatzi, funny looking F, W, lollipop test, Chatzi HaShekel. Could you do me a favor, come? Go around, let everyone hold in their hands an original Matzis HaShekel from the time of the second Beis HaMikdash. A Matzis HaShekel is such an important coin, and there are only 148 known in the world. Why are there so few of them? So the Gemara tells us in the Darn that Hadrianus Malka, Hadrian, and Traiana Malka and Trajan did not have enough silver to make coins. They went to the Roman treasury and they took all the Yiddish coins and they melted it down and they made their own coins out of it. Zog the Gemara, Bikshu Ligna is called Kesev V'Zav Sheba'olam. Chazal wanted to ask people using gold and silver. Ad Shematzu Pasik B'Yecheskel, until they found the Pasik in Yecheskel. Bo Pritzim V'Chalalua, that anything the Goyim took away or they destroyed has no din kedusha. This here is what is an amazing thing. The Ramban writes that when he came to the city Eretz Yisrael and he came to the city of Akoi, they found one Matzis HaShekel, and the Ramban wanted to buy it, but he didn't know how to read Ksav Ivri, because the Yidden had already stopped using Ksav Ivri before the Zman HaRamban. After Bar Kochba's revolt, they stopped, so the Ramban didn't know how to read Ksav Ivri. He writes it himself. He went to a Kusi, a Shimroni, the Samaritans who used Ksav Ivri. The Shimronim should teach him how to read the Aleph Beis Ksav Ivri. The Ramban came back and someone beat him and bought the coin. And the Ramban cried. In the time of the Chassam Sofer, Chassam Sofer found out that they found 4 Matzis HaShekels. The British Museum bought 2. If you go to London for a chassan or a trip, go to the British Museum, you could see on display the 2 Matzis HaShekels they bought in the time of the Chassam Sofer. The Chassam Sofer gave away most of his money and bought a Matzis HaShekel. And the Rabbi Yehuda Assad bought the 4th Matzis HaShekel. Well, there was once a chasana, and the Chassam Sofer brought along the Matzis HaShekel to show the chassan and kala. And he said to them, Dibis halb and Dibis halb, your half and your half. Together, you become one Metzias. Remember, you're only a half. When the Chassam Sofer passed away, all of his children wanted the Matzis HaShekel. My great-great-uncle was Rabbi Avram Schreiber, who was Ben Chaben from the Chassam Sofer. He was the sandig of my bris and the bris of my oldest son. He passed away in London at 104 years old. At my son's oldest son Yosef's bris, he told the story of what happened in the negotiations after the Chassam Sofer passed away, how to divide the Yerusha. Everybody wanted the Matzis HaShekel. And my great-great-grandfather's name was the Ksav Sofer. And the Ksav Sofer said, I'm the Bechar, I get it. So Rab Shimon Sofer, the Krukarov, negotiated with him that he gives up his whole chelik of money of the Yerusha. And they divided the chelik of money of the Ksav Sofer and gave it to the 10 children, and they divided it up evenly. So they all got an extra chelik. And the Ksav Sofer brought his coin, his Matzis HaShekel, to an Asifas HaRabbanim in Preshberg. The Ksav Sofer wanted to show everybody exactly what a Matzis HaShekel was. It was going from hand to hand, and the coin disappeared. Ksav Sofer said, lock the door, everybody open your pockets. Maria Assad did not want to open his pockets, because he had the other Matzis HaShekel. He didn't want the Shibi Chas V'Shalom Machil Hashem. So the Ksav Sofer said, let's make a bezdin and force him to open his pockets. And the Maria Assad said, let's daven mincha and say Tehillim. In the middle of mincha, the waiter found the Matzis HaShekel of the Ksav Sofer wrapped up in the garbage on a tablecloth. The Ksav Sofer got it back. The family was very, very ibigirash. They were very, very shocked by this whole story. And here he gave up his whole Yerusha money for a coin. And they couldn't figure out why would he want such a coin to such an extent that he would give up his Yerusha money. And the Ksav Sofer says, Mahab ma Kabbalah. We have a Kabbalah. Whoever has this coin is a school of Ashirs. Will be wealthy. I always wanted to be wealthy. So when I was still a bacher, I traveled around the world to try to get one. And I found a Yid in Herzliya, who was a very old man, very wealthy. He was a billionaire, not a millionaire. And he had a Machzis HaShekel. And I said to him, please, I want to open a museum and this. And finally he sold it to me. In 1985, I paid him $35,000. I was offered for the coin many, many more times more than that. Satmar Rebbe Baruch Moshe offered me $1 million for my coin. I told him no. I need it for my museum. Subsequently, the divers were in the water, and this is how we find coins. We found 26 Machzis HaShekels. I sold them all. They were all sold. In a different shipwreck, this is what the divers look like when they go in the water and they find these things at the bottom of the sea. This is what the scuba divers look like. One time they found 7. I sold them all. Then we found 5, and 3 are sold. I do have 2 that are for sale. They cost $45,000 if you want your own Machzis HaShekel. And what's interesting is you can read every single letter in Ksav Ivri as Chazal are describing, and as the Ramban describes. The Ramban says if you look at the Machzis HaShekel, on the back of the coin you will see Parach Mata Aaron Vayigmal Shkedim, how the almonds grew out from the staff of Aharon, and on the front you're going to see the Tzintzenes Haman. And the Ramban says the mistake that everybody makes, they think that Tzintzenes Haman is a jar of man. Mistake. It was an open keli. It's an open chalice. And this keli was open so you should see how fresh the man was. When the Navi Hashem picked up the Tzintzenes Haman and showed the Yidden 1,000 years after Moshe Rabbeinu in the end of Bayis Rishon, Bayis Rishon, that it's still fresh. This is an example of that. So you can see on the Machzis HaShekel, Ksav Ivri, you could see Parach Mata Aaron Vayigmal Shkedim. You could see also the letters in Ksav Ivri. Yes?
Was there only one printed Machzis HaShekel all the years? It was the same throughout all
There
the
was Machzis HaShekels also in this time by Rishon, which are different. The Gemara talks about Koidim Shahis. This is by Sheni. The Gemara talks about Koidim Shahasifu Shtos and La'acha Shahasifu Shtos. I'm not allowed to have a Machzis HaShekel from Bayis Rishon. It's a weight that says on it Chatzi. It says Beka on it. Beis Kuf Ayin Ksav Ivri. And the weight of it is 6 grams. Machzis HaShekel from Bayis Sheni is 7.14 grams. So Rebelsky gave a Morid Kashir in the museum and he explained that there were many shkolim in many different countries. So the Phoenicians had a shekel, the Jews had a shekel. Imagine a Yid doing business with a guy. What happens is, he says, sell me 5 shekel of flour. He takes out his weights, and the Jewish weights were smaller than the Phoenician weights. So the guy thinks the Jew is cheating him. So Dayavish Harishon, Darius I, he standardized all of the shkolim of his entire kingdom. Hoisifu alav shtus, he added a 6 to the Jewish weight so that it should become standard with the Goyim. And that's the concept you're going to learn in the Gemara of Hoisifu alav shtus. One day Rabbi Yashiv says to me, I was very close with him, he says to me, can I buy coins from you? I don't know what to tell him, these are expensive coins. He says to me, ich will kaufen von euch, I want to buy from you. Einer von jedem Matbea der Mont in Chazal. Every coin mentioned in the Gemara I want to buy from you. So, because I used to sell all my extra coins to other museums, like we would clean them, This is what a pack of coins look like when we take it out from under the sea, before we actually clean them. Do you want to come up over here for a second? Go around, let everyone hold a pack of coins, what it looks like, before it's cleaned. Take 2 packs of them. We haven't cleaned these yet, but I know what they are. We clean a few of them, they're usually all the same. Okay? So Rabbi Elyashiv says to me, I want to buy from you one of every coin mentioned in Chazal. I didn't know what to tell him, so I changed the subject. He didn't leave me alone. Every time I walked into him, he would say to me, when are you going to sell me coins? Finally, after he asked me 3 times, I said, you know what? It's time to... I used to sit with him upstairs in his house, upstairs. And this is one of the most unique pictures you'll ever see of Rabbi Elyashiv. That's me, that's Rabbi Elyashiv and his grandson. And I put down in front of him a set of the whole Gemara Kedushin Daf Yud Beis. A dinar, a ma, a punja, and a isra talki, a musmas, a kuntrik, and a pruta. And for those of you who are learning chulin now in Daf Yomi, you need to see the sizes of these coins to understand Chazal. Watch. In a dinar, this is a dinar. There are 6 ma kesef. A ma is the smallest size silver coin of the ancient world. You know why they were mamashmash v'kisei b'chol shah? Because when you have coins that are so teeny, are very easy to lose. In a dinar, there are 6 ma. 12 punjainin. This coin is called a punjain. 24 isser ha'italkis. 48 musmasin. Rashi Kedushin Daf Yud Beis. This is the musmas. Okay, could you put it inside that box right there? Open the flaps and put it inside. This is called a musmas. The Goyim called it semis. This is a kuntrik. There are 48 musmasin, 96 kuntrik in a dinar. And this is a pruta. On here it says, Inksav River Yochanan Koyin Hagadol. This is a coin of Yanei HaMelech, the son-in-law of Shimon HaMaccabee. So in the dinar there are 6 ma, 12 punjanim, 24 Yisrei Talkis, 48 musmas, and 96 kuntrik, and 192 prutas. I bring Rabbi Elyashiv the set, and I want to be a hero. So I said to him, Yichayv Gibrachta Matana. I brought you a present. Rabbi Elyashiv looks at me and says, Soina Matana Sichir. I don't take presents. I want to pay for it. Now I'm stuck. I'm standing in Rabbi Elyashiv's kitchen. I don't know how much to charge him. He says to me, Zog me viful is. Tell me how much it is. Now, these coins in bad condition should be 6,000 to 7,000. I give him about $20,000 worth of coins. And I'm hesitating. He says, Zog me viful is. I told him, $725. $725. Rabbi Elyashiv gets out of his chair. Look at the Svarim Shank behind him. He goes over to his Svarim Shank and he pulls out from the side, not between the Svarim, at the sides, he pulls out envelopes and he starts counting for me $1 bills from 1957. And I'm looking at these dollars, they're antique dollars, and he's counting. So I said, Elyashiv, these are antiques. These are antiques. You don't have to give me 725. 300 to shen genug. 300 is enough. And he says to me, Ba'amir dos $1. This is $1. And he counts out 725 singles. Today, people come to me. Can I buy, my son's named after Rabbi Elyashiv. Can I buy one of the Rabbi Elyashiv dolls? I say $100, you can have $1 for Rabbi Elyashiv. You know what people do? Go to bar mitzvah. You want to give the best bar mitzvah present to a kid named after Rabbi Elyashiv? Buy it for $100. Go to a framing store here on Coney Island Avenue. They'll put a picture of Rabbi Elyashiv with this. It has a beautiful thing to give a kid who's actually named after Rabbi Elyashiv. So I brought you a couple of dollars because wherever I go, people chase me. Can I have some of the dollars? I sold over 200 of them already from the 725 that he gave me. Here's the funny part. Rabbi Elyashiv turns, you see right here is his grandson. This is his grandson Yisrael. And he turns to Yisrael and he says to him, For 100 years, for 100 years, habe ich gewohnt in a Stube, I lived in a house, ohne Kasefet, without a safe. Was habe ich schon da, was happens wert Geld? What do I have here that's even worth money? And I'm laughing to myself. Rabbi Yasha was such an honor. He didn't realize people would pay $30,000 to have a Tehillim that he said Tehillim for. He says to me, was habe ich schon da, was happens wert Geld? He sends Yisrael, go buy him a kasefet, a little safe. Yisrael leaves. Rabbi Yasha turns to me and he says, Rabbi Deutsch, Efshe kannst du mir geben 20 Minuten. Could you spare 20 minutes? Rabbi Yasha asked you for 20 minutes. You give him 20 minutes? I said, Zecher. He takes off his glasses. He puts it down on the table. And he makes a kinyan on every box. I gave him like these boxes. Every single coin that he just bought from me. And he starts staring at the sizes of the coins. After 20 minutes, he puts his glasses back on and he tells me, I just figured out 27 halachas in Shas. I just figured out 27 halachas in Shas. An asterisk that's missing till the size of a Isser Ha'italki. Mein ganze Leben, my whole life, I learned Kiroich of Isser Ha'italki. And I didn't gewusst, I didn't know, was mein Kiroich of Isser Ha'italki. The Gemara in Chulin, Daf Yomi, sagt, a behemoth was hat a loch, an animal that has a hole in its corner, in its windpipe. Oy, the loch is kishir dinner. If the hole is the size of a dinner, the behemoth can live my year. He could live a year. He's not a treifa. Aber oybs is kiroichev iser ha'italki. He is a treifa. Rabbi Yashu figured out 27 halachas. If you buy my books, it costs $35. I give you with Mar Mikoimis many of the halachas Rabbi Yashu learned out from these coins. And this is so important because if you are seriously learning Daf Yomi and you want to understand Chazal, if you call a plumbing supply store and say, I need a pipe the size of a dime, a nickel, a penny, or a quarter, everybody knows which size you're talking about. So Rabbi Yashiv says to me, Chazal ham genutzt matbeis, they use coins, weil das is azachos jeder ein hat gehabt. Everyone had these coins. So if I tell you a shir dinner, kiroicha v'siritalki, we know what they are. How far are you allowed to keep your fingers? By Bari Ma'ari Ha'esh. Amar Ula Mishayakir Ben Punjain Le'isr Ha'italki. So right now, I'm going to show the Rav. I'm going to give him an eye test right now. I'm going to show him a Punjain, and I'm going to show him the Isr Ha'italki. And then I'm going to walk backwards. I'm going to ask the Rav, tell me to stop when you can't see the difference of the two, because there's only a little difference. On the punjain, the king has on top of his hair, on top of his head, he has these little sticks that are coming out of his head. See that? On the Isser Ha'italki, he doesn't have that. See that? Take off your glasses. I'm going to be the eye doctor right now. Tell me to stop when you can't see the difference.
Yeah, rusty a little bit though. Rusty.
Okay.
Rusty.
A little rusty. Amar Ula Mishayakir Ben Punjain Le'isr Ha'italki. Everybody's eyesight is different. This is what Ula is talking about. Sticks of the crown or a laurel wreath on top of his head. And this is why, so I made the set, and I didn't even leave Eretz Yisrael yet. I was still in Eretz Yisrael, and I had already been by Reb Chaim Kanievsky that trip, maybe 5 or 6 hours with him, because he used to ask me all those technical gemaras. This is what I was, without a white beard, with a red beard, this is what me and Reb Chaim, when I used to sit with him, this is what it used to look like. If you look at Reb Chaim Kanievsky's face, I don't know if you ever saw Reb Chaim smile like that. He loved antiques. So Reb Chaim says to me, Reb Shlomo calls me up, I'm by my father now, and my father said, don't leave Eretz Yisrael till you come into him. I go into Reb Chaim and he says to me with a big smile, I heard, an mein Schweret bekommen von euch, that my father only got for you a set from Matbeis, a set of coins. I said, yes. Lama Nigara. What about me? I said, you want to say, Zicher? How much did my Schweret pay you? $7.25. He gave me 20s and a 5. I still have it. I'm not selling. So this is the thing. Rav Moshe Shapiro found out about it. He wanted a set. I came back to America, Rav Feivel Cohen, Rav David Cohen, Rav Belsky. Everybody wanted sets. Then Rav Belsky said to me, this is what you should do. Make them available for everybody. Because Rav Yashiv said to me, Amadbeya de Montin Chazal, a coin mentioned Chazal, fa koifes nishva goy. Don't sell to goy, yidin dafen de Madbeyas. So today we sell the set for $725. And you can buy a set today. I bought 4 sets with me today. I have some more at home. We have less than 20 of them left. Because now in Daf Yomi, everyone is buying them. I just had a few weeks ago, Stefanski just sent a shliach to me that he wants to buy a set of coins. He bought a set for me. He said, because he's coming up in Daf Yomi now. He wants to be able to show the coins. So this set is a moedik thing. You could sit in any bais medrash in the world. You're learning a sugi and shas. Kirachem Isir Talti, Kashir dinner. You could take out your coins on the spot. You could see the sizes of what it is. Rabbi Yashin had a very erlich neighbor, mamish, a guy who sits in koil his whole life. I didn't know the story. He came and told me this story. So he's a neighbor. He saw me bringing Rabbi Yashin coins. He was all excited. There's a guy who's sitting his whole life in koil, doesn't have any money. He tells me, he goes over to Rabbi Yashin. He says to him, Should I also buy a set of coins? What do you think Rabbi Yashiv is going to tell a guy who's sitting in koil with no money? Rabbi Yashiv looks at him and says, Dus gedaven Shachris heint in the free. You daven Shachris this morning, yeah? Dus gesagt, V'hor einenu b'sor yasecha. Das is V'hor einenu b'sor yasecha. What are we daven for? Hashem illuminate my eyes, I should understand Torah. He said, this is V'hor einenu b'sor. This is what Rabbi Yashiv tells a guy with no money. Now the beautiful thing about it is on the pruta is Ksav Ivri. It says Yochanan Kohen HaGadol Chaver HaYehudim in Ksav Ivri. So if you want to learn how to read Ksav Ivri, you can actually learn it from the coins itself. The pruta has Ksav Ivri on it. Okay, so now that we understand how much it is, how much was a dinar? Rabelski gave a shir. This is what he said. A dinar was a day's salary for Rabbi Akiva. It says in Pirkei Rabbi Elazar Perik Shishi, Rabbi Akiva hayamevi chavila shel eitzim. Rabbi Akiva used to bring a wagon load of wood and sell it. How much did he earn for a whole day's salary? 1 dinar shel kesef. Okay? Minimum wage till January of this year was $15 an hour. Now they raised it. Let's use the $15 an hour, easy to calculate. Average worker worked 10 hours a day. Min aboika ad erev. You learn how seicher sapoilim. It says how many. If you made up with a worker, he has to work for you. You didn't tell him how many hours. He has to work min aboika ad erev. Sunrise to sunset. 10 hours a day. $15 an hour times 10, $150. In a dinar, there are 6 ma'ah kesef. A ma'ah, 150 divided by 6, each one is $25. If you came to the Beis Hamikdash, you had to bring a carbon oiles re'iyah. Ufanei la yira rekam. Like me, I'm a grandfather. You go to your grandchildren's house, you're not allowed to show up without presents. This is ufanei la yira rekam. You came to the Beis Hamikdash, you had to bring a present. How much did your oiles re'iyah have to cost you? 2 ma'ah kesef. $50. In a dinar, there are 12 punjanim. These are nechoshes. 24 Isra Talkis. Isra Talkis is very interesting. It was a nechoshes based coin. They used to smear silver over the nechoshes to coat it. But then the price of silver went up. Like in 1964, the price of silver went up. And they changed the quarters from silver to a different metal. So they left it only nechoshes. If you learn Kedushin Dafrid Beis, and the Gemara talks about Isser Talki, Rashi says Isser Talki is silver, Tosfos says it's nechoshes. Rashi's talking about before 1964, Tosfos is talking about after 1964. You have to know the history to understand Chazal and Mefarshim. In a dinner, there are 12 Panjonim, 24 Yisra Talkis, 48 Musmusim, 96 Kuntrikin, 192 Prutas. So if there's 192 Prutas in a dinar, and a dinar is $150, you could be Mekadesh Isha with 78 cents. I don't know if your wife will be too happy about it, but you could be Mekadesh Isha with 78 cents based on this calculation. Well, this is an example. But we all just finished Pirkei Avos before Shavuos. And that's why I'm leading up to this. Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma was going on a trip, and a guy offered him Elef Alafim Dinrei Zav. There are 25 silver dinrim in one dinar shel zav. So if Rabbi Akiva earns an entire day's salary, he earns one dinar shel kesef. He works a month. A month you have 30 days, 4 Shabbos and Friday. You don't work a whole day. Rabbi Akiva worked a month. He earned a dinar shel zav. Rabbi Akiva used to earn 12 dinar shel zav a year. The guy offered Rabbi Yossi Kisma $1 million. $1 million divided by 12 would have taken Rabbi Akiva 83,333 years of work to earn the money the guy offered Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma. And what did he answer him? If you gave me all the money in the world, Avanim Tovos Margolius, and Yanidar Ela b'Makom Torah. That would be equivalent today to $3,265,000,000. Michael Bloomberg was once by my museum, and I said, that would be like you would go over to Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma and say to him, I'll give you all my money, just move to my city. So Mastam, all of you are thinking Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma lived in a city with no machlokes. Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma lived in Tveria. There was such bad politics and machlokes that once a Sefer Torah was ripped in the middle of Kriyas HaTorah in Tveria. The Maral Miprag says in his Pirush of Pirkei Avos that you have to learn everything of Pirkei Avos also from the Baal HaMemra. It's better to live in a Makom Torah with all the politics and all the machlokes than half a centimeter. If you learned Daf Yomi 7 weeks ago, in Menachos, the Gemara said the thickness of the Mizbeach HaZav was Ka'oivi Dinah Shel Zav. Now, how close is the nearest fire station from here? Close? Yeah. Go over to the fire station. Tell them, look, I want to build a wooden box in my house. That was the Mizbeach, a wooden box. And I'm going to coat it with 0.5 centimeter of metal. And the fire department will tell you, you will have fire in your house. Zog the Gemara Menachos, it was a nest that the Mizbeach HaKetoris did not go on fire. This is Ka'ovi Dinah Shel Zav. So, would you like to come around and let everybody hold? Do you know that I went to the Beis Yosef's caver to be Maidia that we found the Dinah Shel Zav? Okay. So, let everyone hold an original Dinah Shel Zav. On the coin is a picture of Domitian, the brother of Titus, and it says on it Domitian on the coin. And this is, so again, you talk about the thickness of a coin. The Gemara uses that as a shear as well. And that's why coins to me are fascinating, because we can show you from when they're found in a shipwreck what they look like, through the process of cleaning, till the halachas and the gemaras that we learn out from these specific coins. And that's how every antique I can show you when it's from, because we know which king, because kings only minted coins during their lifetime. Once a king died, you're not allowed to use his coins. The Gemara calls it Dinah Shenifsala. What did they do? They made a hole in the coin. Exactly what Rashi teaches us. This is a dinar shel kesef that was discovered, punched a hole right at the bottom of the coin. Now, if they would have been using this in jewelry, they would have punched a hole on the top of the coin. Yosefan tells us if they put it on the bottom, it means it was for being puzzled. Why? Because if you wear a necklace and you wear the king upside down, they would kill you. So they had to wear it this way as a necklace. When you get a new passport, what do they do to your old passport? They punch a hole in it. This is Dina Shanifsala. This is an actual coin. You want to go around and let everyone hold a real Dina Shanifsala. Right now in England, the Queen of England died. All the money in England is changing. Go into a bank in London and make a deposit. They're taking out of circulation all the money from Queen Elizabeth, changing everything to King Charles. Buckingham Palace announced within 3 years, all the coins and all the dollar bills, the pounds and British pounds, will all be only King Charles. In the ancient world, it was considered a pchisas hakavod if you would use money from a king that was not alive anymore. And therefore you had to turn in your coins and they gave you new coins. So this you can see as well. With that said, I'd like to show you another very important thing. I'm going to show you what's a teneh of Bikurim and what's a sal. The same words that we find in Lashon Kodesh, many of them are found in Egyptian hieroglyphics. I read 11 ancient languages. I read Greek, Roman, Latin, Akkadian, Sumerian, Old Babylonian cuneiform script, Old Persian cuneiform script, Phoenician, Ksav Ivri, hieroglyphics, Coptic. I translate for Art Scroll the hardest Masechtas and Shas. I wrote Kalim for Art Scroll. If you look at the beginning of Masechtas Kalim, it says everything is coming from the Living Torah Museum. I'm going to take out an Egyptian hieroglyphics dictionary, mitzvahs from the time of the Torah, and I'm going to show the Rav right now the word V'samta hatena biyadecha from a mitzvah dictionary. I'm going to show him the actual word tena. Right here's the word tena. Mitzrayim called it the same name. This is the basket that the Mitzrayim called the tena, and it's the same word. Dibra Torah kalashim b'nei adam. This is called the tena. This is a Bikurim basket. Now, this one was found in the Mediterranean Sea. I left some of the white coral on here. You should see it's coming from the sea. And this is a basket that they call tena.
What's it made out of?
This one is made out of klicharis. It wouldn't be kosher for the Bikurim, but it was a certain shape. The Egyptians called this a sal. Sal was a flat basket. This would go on top of your head. Please, no pictures. So this over here has a ridge, meant to be put in. So the Sarah Oifim was dreaming he's wearing 3 salim on his head. If your wife had a baby, you had to come to the Beis Hamikdash and bring a carbon, because she promised she's never having any more kids. Guess what? You had to bring sal hamatzos.
Is that clitoris also?
No, this is made out of papyrus. Papyrus in the Mishnah is called nayar. In the Bartanura says shikorin oisai papyrus, ancient papyrus.
That was
Many of them, yeah. Now, if you brought this to the Beis Hamikdash, you had to have sal hamatzos. Most people think tenufa means going up and down 3 times, and that's amaratzos. This is tenufa. Up, down, moilech, umevi, and the 6 sides. 3 times. Up, down, moilech, umevi, and the shisha ksavis. Just like a lulav. Up, down, moilech, umevi, the 6 ketzavis. So because the same word is found in mitzvahs, tena and sal, which I just showed you of in the dictionary, this is what a Bikurim basket would look like. When you brought Bikurim, and now, starting from Shavuos until Sukkot is the Zman to bring Bikurim. So we're going to spend a few minutes about Bikurim. Now, you would live in your house, you had fields. You would take the 7 minim of Eretz Yisrael, red string, tie it around, you would say Harezei Bikurim, and then you'd come back once it ripened and cut them off. Some shita say you had to say again Harezei Bikurim a second time. Achloikis. You took your Bikurim basket and you didn't go to Yerushalayim. You went to a meeting place of Bikurim parades. Like you have a rest stop on a highway. They had 24 meeting places in Eretz Yisrael for Bikurim. Each one had a gabbai. And his job was to tell you where you're going to sleep that night. You weren't allowed to go into a house because if there was tumah in that house, you just lost your Bikurim. So you had to sleep in an open field. So the first thing you need when your Mashiach comes is a sleeping bag. You're going to sleep in an open field. In the morning, the Gabbai would come and say, Kumu v'nala Yerushalayim. Let's go up to Yerushalayim. And they would start marching. As they got closer to Yerushalayim, 24 Bikurim parades became one Bikurim parade. Afilu Agrifas HaMelech, even Agrippa, joined the Bikurim parade. And once, on a daily basis, they would have this. When they got to the walls of Yerushalayim, they used to sing, Oim dois haya ragleinu b'sha'arayich Yerushalayim. Miami Boys Choir years ago made a song out of it. I don't know if they used that tune, but they definitely were saying, Oim dois haya ragleinu b'sha'arayich Yerushalayim. They got up on Har HaBayis, Arimimcha Hashem kidilisani v'lo yisimachta oiveli. They brought their tana. Do we have a kohen here that could help me out here? Kohen, come up over here. Come up over here. Okay. Open both your hands flat. Under my hands. Ready? Arami oived avi vayered mitzrayma vayogar sham bimsei ma'od vayihi sham legoy gadol atzam barav. Give him a big round of applause.
Go ahead.
Now, if it was a woman bringing Bikurim, they would hold it from the side basket, not underneath the hands. Because it sneezes. Now, I'm going to show you something else that's very, very unique to see. I'm going to show you the process of gold. Because most of you learn Gemara Yuma, and you have no clue what Zav, Shachut Zav, Mezukah Zav, Tar Zav, Sagar Zav, Mufas. So let me show you quickly about gold. I brought you some of the types of gold that you can learn about in Chazal. When you find gold, do we have anybody here in the gold business? Anybody in the gold business here?
Fabric.
Fabric, okay. Watch this. So when you discover gold, this is a piece of quartz that has veins of gold in it. Go around, show everyone a piece of quartz. Quartz is called gavish in Tanakh, and that is quartz with gold. This here is a gold nugget. Second way you find gold, in a gold mine. Anybody here know how to say a gold nugget in Yiddish? Goldstein.
Gold nugget.
No, Goldstein. Goldstein. Goldstein means gold nugget. Goldberg is gold mine. Goldberger is the owner of gold mines. Goldschmidt is the guy who cooks the gold, and Goldman is a gold salesman. So I tell people, if you want gold, you go to a Goldman, he takes you to a Goldberger. You go inside of a Goldberger, you take out a Goldstein, give it to a Goldschmidt. People's names come either from the town you came from, or from where it is. Do we have anyone here named Goldstein? Anybody here named Goldstein? No? No?
No Goldstein.
Oh, Goldstein. Okay. So guys, we have a Goldberger?
No, if you get married,
Who's
you get a gold digger.
Guys, if you look closely at the gold nugget, I'll leave it up here so you can see it after I finish. You'll see white. That white is quartz. This is called a crucible in English. The Torah calls this a kur. Vayotzienu mikur habarzel mitzrayim. Hashem took us out of the cooking pot of Egypt. The longer the goldschmidt is going to cook this, the purer the gold is going to become. The white quartz will disintegrate into the air. Cook it for 5 minutes at 1800 degrees. You're going to get 14 karat gold. Carat in old Shakespearean English means part. 14 parts gold, 10 parts quartz. Cook it for 10 minutes. More quartz will evaporate. You're going to get 18 parts gold, 6 parts quartz. By the way, if you buy your little kids earrings or your grandchildren earrings, do not buy them 14 karat gold earrings. Only 18. because 14 karat gold, 40% of all babies are going to get ear infections. Too much quartz, the body cannot tolerate. But if you buy them 18 karat gold, spend a little more money, they're never going to get an ear infection around the hole where you actually made the hole. If you cook it for 15 minutes, you get 22 karat gold. 20 minutes, you get Zav Tar. This is pure gold. This is called Zav Tar de Torah. In Yiddish, we call it gin gold. Pure gold, and I'm bending it with my fingers like paper. When they made the ephod, it says, "Vayiraku oiseas pachi hazav v'kitzeitz psilim." They made threads of gold. How do you make threads of gold? In my book on Shemois, I teach you how to make threads of gold and how it was done. I can show you a picture in the book from a Yid in Morocco 100 years ago actually making threads of gold. This is Vayiraku oiseas pachi hazav. We found in the sea a gold crown that is very similar to what Rabbi Akiva made for his wife. A Yerushalayim Shozov. Rashi says she wore it al metzach on her forehead like it sits. It had a picture of the walls of Yerushalayim. This one has picture of floral designs carved into the gold. This is 2,300 years old, from the time of Alexander the Great. It was found with coins of Alexander the Great. And this is Zahav Tar, this is pure gold. One of the things I try to show people is shiurim, how much things are. I worked with a Yid in Eretz Yisrael and I created a special tape measure. This is called a shiurim tape measure. And you could buy it from us today for $20. I put the Chazon Ish shiurim on one side, on green, and Reb Chaim No's shiurim on the other side. So let's take a simple thing that everyone knows. Pari of the Makos was 1 amma tall. Biggest size amma, Chazon Ish. Pari was this tall. If you are Hasidish, you follow or Chabad or Sephardic, you follow Reb Chaim No's shiur, and Pari was this tall. I was a kid sitting in class, I said, Rebbe, if Moshe was 10 amas tall, why didn't he just step on him? My whole class started laughing, and the Rebbe kicked me out of class. It doesn't go by how tall or short you are. How big is your army? Well, when I opened the Living Torah Museum and the biggest magazine in the world of archaeology, Biblical Archaeology Review, sent 30 scientists in Washington to test my whole collection. They certified everything was real. One of the biggest archaeologists in the world, Dr. Donald Brown, who was the surveyor of King Tut's tomb in Egypt when Howard Carter found King Tut's tomb. He dug up the palace of Pari, and anything he found doubles of. One went to the Cairo Museum, the other he can keep. He made a $4 million donation to my museum of all the Egyptian artifacts he was allowed to keep. I said, why did you choose me? I'm a guy who believes the Torah is emes. I was in Egypt and saw before the Arabs started hiding everything, all the things from the Yidden in Mitzrayim. I want someone to use my antiques to teach Torah. Egypt has no rain. Dr. Brown in the palace of Pari found an amazing pair of shoes.
What decade?
This is 3,200 years
What
old.
decade did he?
Oh, one,
When did he find it?
1929. He found it in 29.
What are they made of?
Leather, crocodile leather. Now, Nike Sneaker Company sent a representative to study these shoes. They found that these are adult shoes, not children's. How could you tell? Kids rub out the front of their shoes. Adults rub out the heels of the shoes are rubbed out. Means the person who wore these shoes lived in the palace of Pari, was an adult who was about an amma tall. Exactly what the Medrash Rabbah teaches us about Pari.
Are they preserved with anything?
Yes.
What?
I can't get into the technical process, but at the end I'll be glad to tell you. So it's a lot of work that goes in. Egypt is a dry climate. That's why leather, wood was able to survive. In other places it cannot. Dr. Brown gave me a Mikhal Basheferes. This is an eyeliner kit from the ancient Egyptians. The coal still here, inside this vessel after 3,000 years. So if a woman puts on chol al ein achas, on one eye, then it's for refuah, because they had sandstorms. And to avoid that, they would put it to take down the swelling. On both eyes, then it's lanoi. That's for niceness. Mikla b'sheferes. One of the words in Megillah Esther that no one knew what it meant. Ritzbas bahat v'sheish. Sheish is marble. What's bahat? I found in hieroglyphics, in mitzvahs from the time of the Torah. Right, here's the word bahat. Same word. Bahat means alabaster. Alabaster is a very beautiful stone. Put it back inside the box there. This right here is Egyptian alabaster. It's a cosmetic vessel from the Queen of Egypt that says on it, Meret Amun, wife of Ramses in hieroglyphics. This is Bahat. I brought you Persian alabaster. Two vessels from the time of the story of Purim. If I were to take this vessel and put it right underneath a light, it's hard to see on this one, but it glows. Do you see it glowing? You see the glow? So if you put it under a light, it glows. You can try it out here. Take your phone, put it on the flash, you see how it glows. By this, the same with this pot. By the Su'ud of Achashverosh, there was a ritzbas, a floor of Bahat V'Sheish. And that's what it actually means. Kayla, you're all going to learn about a Chumash and Rashi. Most people don't know it. Or if you learn Saita between Pesach and Shavuos. The Gemara says a Saita was given to drink. In the box. The Mayim Amorim from a Feli. If you Google the word Phiale, P-H-I-A-L-E, or Patera, P-A-T-E-R-A, P-A-T-E-R-A, Patera, in Roman Latin, Phale is in Greek, Roman Latin is Patera. You will see these drinking bowls. Go to Google Images. This is a Phale. Saramashkin gave Pari to drink. He wasn't using a Kiddush cup. Kois Pari, Rashi says, Nimsizvuv b'Phale Poitrin. He uses both the Greek and Roman Latin words. Why would you use a drinking bowl, not a cup? If you ever sit by the Seder and try to lean over and drink 4 cups of wine, the wine usually hits you in the nose. With a drinking bowl, you tilt your thumb, and that's how they would drink. Do you know that the Bukharan Jews till today do not use Kiddush cups for their Seder? They use drinking bowls. You know what they call it in Bukharan? Paili. Piali. You're Bukharan, right?
I'm Ashkenazi, but I'm very familiar.
Yeah, they call it similar.
In Russian, it's also called pialo.
In Russian also? I didn't know that. Okay, so I learned something new today, Baruch Hashem. So, this is very, very important. The same word that Rashi says. Could you come here for a second? No, this guy, young guy here. Here, come. I need you. Okay, stand right over here. Open your mouth, okay? Right? Open your mouth, right? I'm going to lock your jaws right now. When a soita was given to drink the mayim hama'orim, they would, after you mochek Shem Hashem, you forced it down her throat. This is what the Gemara in Soita Daf Tazvav says. They use the Feili Shel Cheres. This one's from the Choshes. Give him a big round of applause. This is why we call it the Living Torah Museum. If you want to buy anything, because my time is up, I made with Rabbi Yisrael Belsky 2 very important things. The Shiltei HaGibarim wrote down the names of all the Avnei HaChoshen, stones of the Choshen, in Greek. Now, me and Belsky both knew how to read ancient Greek. He writes, HaLeshem Shebeloshen Yava Nikras. So we put together these sets of all the Avnei HaChoshen. We give you the names in English. And by the way, people like them because there's many scholars that he writes in his Pirush al Torah. Open Rabbeinu B'chaya Parshas Tetzav by the Avnei HaChoshen. School for pregnancy, Shalom Bayis, Parnasa, Hatzlacha, Noisachein Beinei Anoshim. Finding favor in the eyes of people, which are good for people in these shidduchim. I had a girl from Lakewood 2 years ago. Rabbi Deutsch? Yes. I'm 31, I'm still not married. I said, you want to get married this year? Yeah. By the Avnei Chosh, you're going to be a Kala this year. How do you know? I said, because Meir Abelsky, till Meir Abelsky translated the Shiltei Gemara, no one knew what these stones were. Now we know what they are. He writes in his Pirush al HaTorah. Noisachain, that's what you need for Shidduch. Nasinas Chain, finding favor in the eyes of a person. 2 months later, she called me from Elachaim. Rabbi Deutsch, I'm engaged. I said, Mazel Tov. 3 of my best friends, all 31, eat Shidduchim. Could they also buy it from you? I said, yes. All 3 became Kalas within 12 months. So I tell people, now I'm going to solve the whole Shidduch crisis in Klal Yisrael. Anyone who tells me I have someone in my family, a friend, a worker, I want them to get married, money back guarantee. It works. Avnei Chosh costs $250. It's the best thing you can give a person who needs a Shidduch. He writes this in his Pirush al HaTorah. My favorite thing he writes is, if you suffer from fears and anxieties, you have a lot of pachadim, buy the 12 stones of the Choshen, put it in your house, all your pachadim are going to go away.
It's a small chip of the stone? Or
Small things. We put it in the rough, so it should be cheaper. People should buy it. So diamonds, you know that 80% of diamonds are not expensive. You go to your dentist's office, they're drilling your teeth, they're using a diamond bit. Go to a glass store, they're cutting glass, they're using diamonds. What makes a diamond expensive is the 4 C's, color, clarity, that's it. We use lower quality stones, but all real stones. So we buy them in the rough, and that's what we do. And I bring them from all over the world. So people should have these sets. And my favorite thing he says, if you suffer from fears and anxieties, your pchadim are going to go away. This is cheaper for $250 than any psychologist appointment you may go to. And when you learn Parshas Tetzaveh, you can take it out. Rebelsky told people, anything you buy from us, you're allowed to use Meister money, because these are tools of education. You learn, you can see what they are. The other thing I did, I walked in this morning, you're holding a middle of Parshas HaKeteris. By the end of davening, people say, Tzarit, Tzipor, and Chal. They don't know what they're saying. Tefillah b'lei kavanas, kegub b'lei neshama. Could you give me one of those green boxes? I made with Rebelsky. These cost $100 a set to show you of what are the Yud Aleph Samamani Hakteris with the names in English. Comes with a pamphlet inside, which plant family each one is from, based on the writings of Chazal, what these things actually are. The Ben Ish Chai writes, in the Sefer Ataris Tiferes Erech Kesem Malchus Minig Yafa V'Nachan, it's a very good custom. A person should keep in the house all 11 Keteris. He says you will never have a fire in your house or a tragedy with the children in your family. We've had 31 houses that should not be standing today that are now standing. Our latest story happened with Korn's Bakery. Mrs. Berkowitz, the owner of Korn's Bakery, was in my museum about 11 weeks ago, and she said to me, you know, I have a Keteris in the house. I want to buy one for 15th Avenue. I said, okay. She's there with her grandchildren. She leaves my museum. She goes straight to her office on 15th Avenue. She puts down on her desk the Keteris. As she puts it down on the desk, a phone rings. One of the bakers calls up that one of the ovens downstairs seems to be misfiring. Call the fire department. They called the fire department. They saved the bakery. They were baking again an hour later, and that oven was just taken out of service. She called me back at 11 o'clock at night, same night. Rabbi Deutsch, I don't know words to thank. I said, don't thank me. I was just a shadchan between the Shiltei HaGiborim and between the Ben Ish Chai, because he said if you keep the 11 Keteris, but you have to know what they are. So this cost $100. It is the cheapest fire insurance you actually can buy. And when you learn Parshas HaKeteris, you could open the bottles and learn the smells. We take Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, check, and cash. So my books, the tape measures of Shiurim cost $20. All my books on Chumash, I have 5 books on Chumash, 2 on the blue books on Melachim, Aleph and Beis cost $35. The Keteris cost $100. On the dollars for Rabbi Yasha cost $100. The Avnei Chosh cost $250. And if you want a set of all the coins, I have 4 sets here. They're $725. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, yeah.
Graham.
I
I have all the videos. I have all the videos.
depending on my money now,